we're going to move right into our next demo for tonight. It's Saskia from Carpool Vote. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Saskia. I'm the founder of Carpool Vote. Now, last year was the first national election since American citizens lost the full protection of the Voting Rights Act. Because of a Supreme Court ruling, states with a history of civil rights violations no longer need to seek federal permission to be able to change voting procedures. Since then, we've seen the closure of nearly 900 polling places, predominantly in communities of colour. New voter ID laws are forcing people to travel sometimes across several counties just to be able to get the right kind of ID to vote. These changes put a serious barrier between communities of colour and the democratic process, and they have spillover effects for people with disabilities, young people, elderly people, and women. Carpool Vote is a tool to fight back against an unfair democratic system. We connect volunteer drivers with anybody who needs a ride to claim their vote. One of the people who called into our phone line last year with an hour to spare before the polls closed has asked me to share her story with you. And I'm not connected to the internet. I was connected.
No, we cannot. We keep it safer so that the speakers can use it.
Sorry for the password disappointment, everyone. Now back to the story. This is a voter who called the phone line quite an hour before the polls closed.
I'm actually a guest here recovering from major surgery. And I called to see if someone could give me a ride because my friend who I'm living with will refuse to give me a ride. I made a mistake by telling them that I'm voting for Hillary Clinton, and so they voted for Trump, and they would not give me a ride to early vote, and wouldn't give me money to get a cab or to take the shuttle to go. And today, one of them told me they would give me a ride, and then at the last minute said they wouldn't because it wouldn't change the reason I'm voting. Now, I'm not interested in getting anybody in trouble. I just want to go vote.
Now, the timing was quite tight, and the first thing I did is I referred her to Uber and Lyft because they were doing rides to the polls thanks to a crowdfunding campaign. Unfortunately, although Harriet did have a smartphone, and this is actually quite rare for our service users, she didn't have internet access at home, and she also didn't have the technical skills to be able to use these platforms by herself. So I signed her up to the platform. Now I'm going to walk you through the process. It's a bit blurry. Okay, now on this occasion there was only one date and time, but drivers and voters can all sign up for as many dates and times as they like, so we can match them for whatever overlap there may be. So Harriet would have been matched with anyone who is available during that time frame. And also gave a radius that covered the pickup location and the drop-off location. Now, voters have the option to take a companion with them if they feel safer that way or if they need assistance. And if someone like Harriet was a wheelchair user, we'd be able to match her with a driver who has a suitably adapted vehicle. There's also space for voters to communicate with drivers other special accommodation needs that they may have. We found last year that about 1 in 10 service users were using this feature to let drivers know about their disability. Now, for someone like Harriet who doesn't have an internet connection, she doesn't actually have to include an email address. She can let the driver know to get in touch with her via phone to arrange the details of the ride. Now, any drivers who meet Harriet's criteria will receive an automatic email or text message if they ask for that, detailing the details of the ride and letting them know that there's a proposed match. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to show up, so let's see how it goes. Now, the driver is able to accept, there we go. So the driver can choose to accept the match either inside the email or by going to the self-service portal. Let's just log into that quickly. So that the driver can log into accept the match. Now I'd like to show you what things look like on Harriet's end. So I'm going to switch the screens now. Screen switching. Right, so this just lets Harriet know that a driver has confirmed a match, and it lets her know that the driver is going to get in touch with her. And it also includes the driver's details, including the license plate number, so she can be sure that she's getting into the right vehicle. Now, last year, more than 3,000 drivers signed up to help get people to the polls. And this service is succeeding because it's part of an ecosystem. And right now, volunteers in Virginia for the NAACP are being trained to use this tool as a voter outreach service during the primaries coming up on June the 13th. Many of our developers are also part of the Progressive Coders Network, which is a really, really inspiring community of volunteers, technologists who are working to remove the influence of money from politics by empowering the grassroots. Now, we're constantly looking to work with new individuals and new organizations who want to make this effective for as many voters as possible. Right now we're looking for volunteers who are developers and project outreach volunteers, but also looking for professional services and for funding. So if any of this applies to you, please come see me afterwards at the after party or go onto our website. It's carpoolvote.com. And I would absolutely love for you to join our movement to help make sure that every American gets the vote that they deserve.